All right, what is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in. Preseason game number 5 in the books, Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, can we just get preseason done, please? We're getting closer. We're getting closer, everybody. Before you know it, we're going to get some regular season basketball. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you very much for being here. If you guys were here this morning and then you're returning back tonight, greatly appreciate that. We'll react to the Lakers preseason game against the Dallas Mavericks. Got a lot of stuff to hit on. Obviously we'll hit on as much as we can considering that it is preseason basketball. And I think the best news that I can give to everybody is that just get excited that we're getting a little bit closer to preseason actually ending. So I think that's obviously going to be some good news. We got a lot to get into. I definitely want to spend as much time as possible in just breaking down the game. I do think even though the Lakers got their aces kicked tonight, I do think there are some things that we can certainly hit on and we could spend some time on, and we can certainly, from just a Laker perspective, try to find some positives. All these games really mean one thing. The game just means you're getting a little bit closer to preseason. Are there some players that you feel a little bit better about than you did yesterday? And I think actually we could say that Lakers – let me just kind of give my instant reaction. A little bit different of a format in the post game. I'm going to be working on some different things of just giving everyone just a quick rundown of what we got. I do that in my morning show. I like it. There's some structure to it and everything else. So I'll probably be trying some things here before we get to the start of the regular season. But let me just kind of give my instant reaction to the game. And for me, I think in tonight's game, pay close attention to the first half. Pay close attention to the first quarter. Don't look at 121-94. I know that score is right in our face, and it's impossible not to look at it. But pay attention to certain players that the Lakers may look at a little bit differently by the time this preseason is over. The name I'm really talking about is Gabe Vincent. So my instant reaction to tonight's game is Gabe Vincent continues to have a pretty productive preseason for the Lakers as far as what he's been able to contribute. It's preseason. I'm not going to overreact, but if I kind of list out some of the players that I think the Lakers are going to be depending on this year, I don't think I'm putting Gabe Vincent in that category. Now, can Gabe Vincent play his way into a position where people start looking at him and saying, oh, there's Gabe Vincent. Where the hell has this guy been for the last 2 years? Man, the Lakers have been needing Gabe Vincent to be a contributor. When they signed him out of Miami, there were some good expectations. There was some promise. I think people got excited about Gabe Vincent. I'd probably tell you that, of all the different things we can talk about in preseason basketball, Gabe Vincent is an interesting storyline that's developing for the Lakers. Again, I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like. I'm not 100% sure how much he's going to get some of this opportunity when the regular season starts. I'm not 100% sure if he can be relied on or depended on, but he's had a couple preseason games so far where you've at least turned your head and said, all right, it's kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting this from Gabe Vincent. He started the game 5 for 5. Now, the rest of the way, if I did the math for you, it's not going to be very good. I think he was 1 of 9 or 1 of 10 the rest of the way. Did take 11 threes. He hit his first 5, so he was 1 of 6 the rest of the way. But I don't really care. I just see Gabe Vincent look like he's got a little bit of swagger. I see Gabe Vincent look like that it looks comfortable out there, ends up with 22 points, has the 3 assists, hit those 5 threes. Just if there's one player to kind of see if he can work his way into the rotation, man, would it be nice if Gabe Vincent started – I don't want to sound too critical here, but started earning his money. He hasn't earned his money in the first 2 years. A 3-year, $33 million deal, which I know isn't crazy in today's NBA, but has there ever been a time since Gabe Vincent's been here where you said, yep, I want Gabe Vincent in this game. Damn, Gabe Vincent's playing great. I'll tell you this, it hasn't been on a consistent basis. So instant reaction for me is Gabe. The other one that I'll point out as well, Rui Hachimura had a really nice first half, and you hear players on the broadcast comparing him to certain guys. What names did I hear? I heard Kawhi Leonard. I heard Michael Thompson say Carmelo Anthony. Now, what they're talking about is this. They're not saying that he's as good as Carmelo Anthony. They're not saying he's as good as Kawhi Leonard. But I think the point that Danny Green was making on Spectrum's broadcast and Michael Thompson during the game with Billy Mack. I think the point that they were trying to make more than anything else was he's got the ability from a mid-range perspective to be an elite player in the NBA. I've already kind of reiterated with everybody else, and I know I've talked to a lot of people that are here on this show or have listened to me in the past. My biggest issue with Rui Hachimura is I just never know if he's going to be consistent. I just never know if Rui Hachimura is going to be one of those players that could be depended on. Tonight, he had 19 points, 9 of 18 from the field. What he played minutes-wise, I want to see. And actually played more minutes than I thought, played 31 minutes. Still struggled from the three-point line, but I did like his aggressiveness. There were a couple times where, he could take a couple dribbles in, try to get to the basket. Maybe sometimes he depends too much on threes, but I thought Rui was nice tonight. So instant reaction for me, Lakers got their asses kicked. They got outscored in the fourth quarter 37-8. Got outscored in the second half. I'm going to try to do my math here. 68-28. Yeah, I ain't going to get it done. But if I look at individual players, obviously we know no Austin Reeves tonight. Of course, no LeBron, no Luka, no Ayton, no Marcus Smart. Kind of go down the list of all these different players that didn't play in tonight's game. Rui and Gabe Vincent give me a little bit of promise and hope that, hey, when the regular season starts, can we get these guys to can we have them depended on a little bit more? And maybe that answer is no. For all I know, I could be sitting here, I don't think anybody would be shocked if we're a month into the season. You're like, Rui's inconsistent and Gabe Vincent is irrelevant. That could happen as well. So that's part of the instant reaction. I still think, guys like Jared Vanderbilt, I'm enjoying watching him play. He only ended up playing 13 minutes. He's fine. I don't think any serious injury, but he just does so many little things. 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 points. Actually hit a 3 and only took 4 shots. Finds ways to get to the basket. He's kind of doing a little bit more even facilitating. I saw him off a block, grab the ball off a loose ball, take it down the floor, make a nice pass that created another pass that got Rui a 3 in the corner. So all those little things were kind of nice to see from Jared Vanderbilt. And obviously that I would say are the things that stood out to me in this game. If I got to look at key stats, if you guys just want a couple of stats that probably is the difference of the game, and trust me, once we get to the regular season, it'll be a lot funner to do this. Dallas shot 51% from the field, so you're not going to lose many games by shooting 51% from the field. They also got to the free throw line 28 times, which is a huge number. They had 30 assists. Turnovers, it's been a problem for the Lakers all preseason. And the idea is it's not going to be a problem once the regular season starts. We'll see what happens. Let's take a listen to JJ Redick, who's getting ready to talk right now, and we'll get his thoughts on the game. Here's JJ post-game on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Jaxson did a great job of putting pressure on the rim. Vando, I think he ended up with six defensive rebounds in that first half, and every time he got it and pushed it, and it created a level of pace. I mean, the first play, Gabe comes off just on a simple zoom, but it was a lot of pace. That's how we were able to score against them at a really high level in that first half. The other thing, for majority of the game, I thought we did a good job of forcing them into the shots that we want to give up. They shot a lot of mid-range shots for much of the game.
And then the second half, I'm sure there's some expected struggles. We're going to play kind of that part of the roster against Dallas is playing still more of their second unit and third unit. But what would you have liked to have seen be a little bit crisper in that period?
Some of the fourth?
Yeah, but the end of the third, but yeah, mostly the fourth,
yeah. A level of toughness, but, that wasn't there tonight. It's not... it's a lot to ask that group that was out there for most of the fourth to generate good shots. That's just the reality of who those guys are right now, and that's not an excuse for that a lack of toughness, a lack of just on court. Hey, let's let's figure this out and play a little harder.
Friday is your last preseason game. Is the plan to have that be a dress rehearsal? And if so,
Yeah.
like, what can we expect to see in terms of minutes and, I guess, the amount of players you will have in your rotation?
Yeah, I mean, again, plans change, but Luka's minutes will go up from last night. Well, similar, I think, to how Jay did his minutes tonight with his rotation. We'll get those guys some normal rotation run through early parts of the fourth.
JJ, Gabe was unconscious to start the game, 5 threes in less than 4 minutes. What did you make of, I guess, not just his start to the game, but so far just his play through these first 5 preseason games and him maybe looking more like a previous version of himself?
Yeah, he's been fantastic as like an on-ball guy. I mean, he's created advantages for us. I think his movement in early offense sets and then his movement in our half court has been really good. And I think he's pushing himself right now to just get in fantastic shape and be able to do that, sustain that for a longer period. That would be the goal for him.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there, and I know Coach will probably answer some more questions here, but we'll keep moving here. We'll keep moving. Okay, so he's talking about Gabe Vincent. Obviously, some of the stuff that he's done, or maybe the confidence level growing a little bit in Gabe Vincent. I think the other piece of this as well, there's a few things I'll take away from JJ Redick, and I'll hit on Gabe. I'll look at some of your comments, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with Gabe Vincent. I don't know what to expect from Gabe Vincent this year. I really, really don't. I don't think I'm walking into many games saying, hey, I know exactly what Gabe Vincent's going to bring. But damn, would it be nice if he can contribute. There's a really good comment here. I'll take a look at it. Let me see if I could find it. If Gabe could just hit threes like that consistently, it'd be a great asset to our bench. I think, the bigger point more than anything right there is Lakers need depth. They need guys that they can come off the bench. And I think a lot of teams that you see that are having a tremendous amount of success in the NBA, they got guys that step up. And that's not always the case with the Lakers' depth. That hasn't been the case with the Lakers. I mean, hell, go look at this playoff run against the Minnesota Timberwolves. How many guys was JJ Redick even using? By the way, that's a mistake on JJ's part. Hopefully he learns from it. You got to use some of your players. You can't ask guys to play 24 minutes or 45 minutes in a game. 24 minutes in a first half is what I was referencing there. So it'd be great to see a guy like Gabe Vincent have more of an impact on this Lakers team and obviously be able to do it on a more consistent basis. He doesn't have to hit 5 threes in the game. He doesn't have to go 5 for 5, but can he find times? And if it's not him, it's another player in another game. It's 2 other guys in another game. It's just by committee. If they can get it done, it changes kind of everything for the Lakers. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. Let me read a couple more of these here, and then and we'll keep rolling here. This stat, this is not a good one. 37-2 is basically the G League playing, but the guys won't ever play during the season. Listen, I want to say this, and I think if you look at JJ Redick's vibe, I think there are plenty of coaches out there that understand they're missing a lot of their main guys, but you can't have runs like that. What was the final run? I know there was a 28-2 run. I know there was a 21-0 run. That's just not a good look for anybody, right? So I think it doesn't matter really who's in the game. Yes, there were moments Anthony Davis is in that fourth quarter. The Dallas Mavericks, let's put it this way, their game plan of how they're approaching the preseason is wildly different than how the Lakers approach the preseason. Lakers really haven't played anybody. Dallas has played all their guys, and maybe their concept and their philosophy is we'll have more cohesiveness by the time the regular season starts. I don't think that's going to be the case for the Lakers. I think for the Lakers, it's going to take a second. Now, you did hear JJ Redick say in that interview that part of what they're going to do is play everybody for this final tune-up game on Friday. So the exciting thing of only having one preseason game left is there's only one preseason game left. The other exciting part about it is we're now finally going to be able to see all these guys play together and what does it look like before the regular season starts. So there definitely is some advantages from that perspective. Let me get a couple more comments in here, and then there's a few other things that I want to hit on. But let me sneak in a few comments. And there was somebody here. Jaxson Hayes was really good, kick lively, and Coop's ass. I do got some thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks. I think, maybe a little underimpressed. I'll explain what I mean. Jaxson Hayes, 12 points, 10 rebounds. You're right. I should have highlighted him more. Hayes is going to be in an interesting role, but it's the right role for the Lakers. He's not going to get 25 minutes like he got tonight. That's not going to happen because DeAndre Ayton's there. Jaxson Hayes is a backup center in the NBA. And in a perfect world, you got two bigs that offer kind of different styles, and Jaxson Hayes becomes a third option, but you're using him specifically. You kind of have that as more of an option, as an asset, as hey, there's two big lineups. I want to use Jaxson Hayes more, however you want it, right? But that's not the luxury for the Lakers. And we know when they were in the playoffs last year, they had no luxury at all from a big man perspective. But we know what Hayes does. Energy minutes, high flyer, up and down the floor, great effort. But he's a backup center. So had a nice night tonight, but obviously that's not something that you could depend on all the time. Let me say this real quick about the Dallas Mavericks. I got some interest in what are the Dallas Mavericks going to be this year. Something's missing on that team. And I'll tell you what's missing. They don't really have a quarterback. So I think one of the things, and when Kyrie Irving comes back, which I think it might be February, March, but even if he does eventually come back, I'm just not sure who that quarterback is going to be, because they got a lot of guys that are, definitely talented, definitely just an unbelievable amount of bigs, but using Cooper Flagg as your point guard, I think is going to be odd in his rookie year. D'Angelo Russell, I think we kind of know what D'Lo is. He's got his ceiling. And Kyrie Irving is one of the best players in the NBA when he's healthy. But Kyrie is more, he goes and gets it for himself. And it doesn't mean that he can't go out there and get others involved, but that's not his natural instinct, is not, I go get everybody else involved. So that's my only worry I would have if I'm the Dallas Mavericks is, who's my quarterback? Who's the guy that's going to orchestrate this entire thing? So I think that piece of it's going to be interesting. And I like their roster on paper. Obviously, when Kyrie comes back, but it's going to be very interesting to see who quarterbacks that whole thing. If you're asking Cooper Flagg to do it in his rookie year, that's going to be a tough ask. So we'll kind of have to wait to see what happens in regards to that. I don't know if Kyrie is that leader. Coop is not a point guard at all. They don't have a playmaker. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about a guy that goes and gets buckets for himself. I'm talking about more of a guy that just puts himself in a position where he's just getting everybody else involved. He's got no problem giving you 10, 12 assists or something along those lines. I'm seeing this right now. Lakers targeting mid-November return for LeBron. So I'm not sure if this is a new report or anything like that, but mid-November is what he's targeting. Let me, just because I see this coming up right now and I'm watching it on Spectrum, let me take a look at the Lakers schedule here real quick. How many games would he miss if it's mid-November, or is that the exact timeline? Mid-November, he would miss 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 games if it's mid-November. November 16th is a Sunday. Lakers play back-to-back games on the 14th and 15th. If it's mid-November, he could miss 14, 15 games. So if that's the report that's coming out now, that looks like that's longer than the 3 to 4 week timeline that we were talking about before. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I mean, let's all be real here for a quick second. And I know we'll get back into the game and everything else, but that's very odd for LeBron James to miss that many games early on. World's not going to end. You don't need LeBron James in October. You don't need him in November. You need him in March and April and obviously moving forward. But that's That's interesting. That's interesting to see that. So I'm sure something just went down or somebody put something out in regards to that. But targeting mid-November, if that's the case, we're talking about probably missing 15, 16 games, something along those lines. I'll look on Twitter. Maybe Shams put something out, maybe something along those lines. But we'll take a look, and that's at least what Spectrum is putting out there. All right, let's see what else we have here. And I'm gonna go back to your guys. Shams put it out. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, if there's anybody to put it out, it's got to be Shams. That's the only person that. I mean, really, that's the source everybody uses. Let's see what we got here. Reporting for ESPN NBA Countdown on LeBron James expected to take a patient approach before the Lakers season debut. Let's do this. Why don't we play this and we can all hear it together? Shams went on, and let's throw this out there so I could listen to it as we go as well. So that way we just all could kind of listen to it together. And it might have come out a little bit earlier, and I just I missed it or wasn't paying attention to it. Here's Shams on LeBron and kind of the latest in regards to that.
What this timeline could look like here for LeBron James.
Malika, I'm told that the Lakers and LeBron are looking at around mid-November as a realistic debut for him. And so October 30th would be the earliest that the Lakers would be officially reevaluating LeBron James. But it is expected he will need at least a few weeks after that point. A source told me tonight that LeBron will be taking a patient approach with this rehab from nerve injury. And so the ramp-up process for this will be a lot of basketball-shaped conditioning work. Because remember, as I reported last week on NBA Today, LeBron James first suffered this nerve issue during an on-court workout in late July, early August. He wasn't able to have that normal LeBron James offseason that we're accustomed to. And as superhuman as he's been throughout his NBA career, he is turning 41 in December, and he is in year 23. So that's the timeline on LeBron James at some point in November, likely around that mid-November range.
Okay, likely looking.
All right, we'll stop right there. So probably talking about 14, 15 games he'll miss, somewhere around there. By the way, the strategy of taking his time and being strategic and all that, it's the right strategy. I don't think anyone would argue with that. And if you're LeBron, you're looking at the big picture here. And for the Lakers, you're looking at the big picture as well. But that you can expect moving forward here. All right, we got Jaxson Hayes. I was wanting to hear some Jaxson Hayes here. Let me jump to that here. Throw in your comments now, and we'll keep kind of breaking down this game and talking a little bit about, more importantly, what's to come, because I'm not really sure if we're pulling too much from the preseason right now.
Well, he came out shooting today. What do you go, 6 for 11? That's crazy. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, he's just been killing it. I mean, I love playing with guards like that. I mean, I played with JJ for 2 years, and so, I mean, just those pin downs and guards that can shoot the ball bring a lot of other attention from the bigs, and so then I start getting stuff or he gets open three, so it's just been great.
Your first year as a Laker, remember you made a lot of progress on the verticality and like not fouling. It seems like that's been there this preseason with the rim protection. Is that just been an area of continued focus? And how do you think your defense has been looking so far?
Yeah, it's just definitely an area of continued focus. Just getting better on the defensive end all night, every night, and just trying to be that anchor for the team is just a big thing for me. If I get it pretty good with it, I got some cheap fouls today. But just little things I can clean up about that. So, yeah.
Jackson, rim running, how much does that help you get easy offense, easy basket, easy dunks because you're getting out of beating up of the court?
Oh, it's really easy. I mean, I feel like that's the way I impact the game. That's one of my strengths as being a young, lengthy rim runner. So I feel like I can beat people down the court and just get my team free buckets or bring in like one or two guys trying to help in on me and we get a corner three. So just do whatever I can to help out the team.
As a big man, we're starting to see some teams like Dallas play two big men. You start, as you smile. Do you think that's something that you and DeAndre can do together against a team like Dallas, against a team like Cleveland that plays bigs like that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I did it a little bit with AD. My third year in the league, I started at the 4 for the Pelicans, and we made the playoffs that year with Jonas. And so I think it's definitely something I can do. And I've been working on my shot this offseason, so, yeah.
It's funny. The NBA is starting to go back to bigs again. Isn't it so cyclical, right? Where there's a phase and everybody's like, it's never going to happen again. That's it. The NBA has changed forever, and everybody's only going to shoot threes. And you start looking, there's a lot of size coming back in the NBA. And teams like the Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Mavericks. There's some teams that I think the only team that just has refused to go big has been the Golden State Warriors. I mean, it's worked for them, so you kind of understand where they come from. But that piece of it that's interesting to see. So there is another couple other storylines coming out of today's game, and I'm seeing it in the comments here, and it seems to be kind of a consistent theme. If I look at some of the different, if I pay attention to, all right, let's pay attention to some of the different things we take away from preseason. The positives, hey, you know what? Gabe Vincent's playing some good ball. Ayton got a little bit better more and more. Marcus Smart, I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see till the regular season starts. Austin Reeves has looked good in all 3 of his games that he played. One of the themes here, Dalton Connect. Yeah, not a lot of confidence here in Dalton Connect. I mean, let's put it this way. Sean, who put DK is young, he'll be fine. I don't hear that very often in regards to Dalton Connect. Let's see DK's numbers for today. I know he didn't shoot a good percentage, but let's just take a look here. 3 of 12, 1 of 9 from the 3-point line, 35 minutes. Good for him with the 7 assists and 8 rebounds. That's phenomenal right there for him. Here's the problem with Dalton Connect. I think JJ is doing everything he can to have him be an asset on this team. And I think Dalton Connect is unfortunately showing way too much the other way that he can't be relied upon. So, unfortunately, I don't know. And listen, Dalton Connect's going to get some opportunities during the year. I'm not saying that he's not going to. But I don't know what his level of confidence is because it doesn't seem like it's very high. And for players like Dalton Connect, the thing you want to see the most in preseason games or in summer league, just want to grow your confidence. That's it. Hey, I don't know when I'm going to get an opportunity, but damn, is my confidence high. And look what I did in the summer league. I dominated those rookies out there. Look what I did in the preseason. I know I was going up against some G Leaguers and everything else. Doesn't matter. When I got my opportunity, I shined. DK can't say that. Unfortunately, Dalton Connect can't say that. Listen, his shooting was awful. I do love the 7 assists and the 8 rebounds. The problem is I just don't think that's going to translate into the regular season. What they want Dalton Connect to do is go get you buckets. Spread the floor for Luka Doncic. Give him some spacing. And if he can't do that, then he's going to have a very, very difficult time finding opportunities for the Lakers this year. So we'll see what kind of goes on from there. Let's see. DK will be a decent player, but not on the Lakers. The lights are too bright for him in LA. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you on that one. And I also think that I've said that a few times myself. He may just need a new location to kind of try to make things happen. And once he gets to a new spot at some point in his career, maybe it's not LA. The lights aren't as bright as you're talking about. It's an organization that's a lot quieter. He can figure it out from there. One player that has been coming through in the preseason, and we're going to find out how many opportunities he gets. He's the one that I really wanted to hear from today. Gabe Vincent. Let's take a listen.
Immediately like that.
I just wanted to come out aggressive. Obviously, we were a few guys down. We knew we needed to play a little fast, and I just wanted to come out, be aggressive, look for my shots, and the guys found me early, and they went in, which is always helpful.
How does it feel like the third, the fourth? Does it feel immediately good the second that it's out of your fingertips? Any different from the first shot, or how does it build like that?
I mean, honestly, they all felt the same. It was just in the flow, coming off, just all shots I've been working on for a long time. So I had the space, I rose, and it all felt good coming off.
Yep, I think we had the same conversation after the Golden State game where same thing. You started hot and kind of found it right away. JJ, a lot of your teammates have spoken to that's just kind of how you've been playing all camp, in general. And where do you think that this kind of combination of everything and just your game and where it's at right now, how the comfortability that you have?
I mean, I think it's just been a unique situation to where I've been able to showcase more of my skill set during this preseason. Obviously, when we're whole, I'm not going to be running the one like that as frequently. We got great players in Luka, Bron, AR. They'll probably be featured quite a bit, so I'll probably be off the ball a lot more. So when I'm here on the ball, I just wanted to show my skill set and be aggressive and try to help us win a game.
Considering the way you guys closed out the second half of last year and were for 30-plus games one of the better teams in the league, obviously there's a ton of expectations, one would think, for this year's team. How do you separate your personal rhythm and success in the preseason from the team being a little choppy and bringing the appropriate amount of optimism into next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think the quickest way to help your team is to better yourself. So I think that's a bit of what we've seen in the preseason. Guys have been working on their game and coming out of camp. And like I said, there's certain opportunities that they may have, like I did tonight and I did in Golden State, to showcase myself a bit more. But we have an ultimate goal, and we need to keep that in mind and not lose sight of that.
All right, stop it right there. We'll allow some more reaction here, and at least we got a few of his questions in. I'm rooting for Gabe. I want Gabe to be the player that the Lakers need from him. You got a few people here. Constant professional. Here's another one. Gabe is showing he can be relied on. The problem is you can't rely on anybody from a preseason perspective. You can't look at anything and say, here's another one from Brian. Hope Gabe is back to the 2023 Heat. Gabe Vincent. By the way, he was a baller in 23. They made to the finals that year. And who'd they lose to? I think Denver that year they lost to, but they went through Boston. They were big underdogs against Boston, and Gabe Vincent was a phenomenal piece for them. So is that Gabe Vincent still around? Can that Gabe Vincent still exist? Because that Gabe Vincent wasn't just, I'm going to go fire 15 shots up. He was a gritty defender. He was somebody that can hit big shots, was not intimidated by the moment. So I think that's going to be, obviously critical to see. Gabe fooling us. Yes, he can get hot, but it's not consistent. He's literally incapable of contesting shots. Too short, can't jump. He's a defensive liability. In the backcourt, believe it or not, he's one of we'll see what Marcus Smart is this year. And Vando, I think, obviously from a defensive perspective, phenomenal. But what backcourt players do you have that are playing defense to begin with, which is obviously not a good sign? Let me throw this question out to everybody because I'm curious in regards to everyone's kind of thoughts and opinions. Are people optimistic right now or the upcoming season? I feel like before preseason, before training camp, maybe about a month ago or so, I feel like there was more optimism on the Lakers starting off the year. And as I started doing the daily show again in the morning, obviously reacting, this is the 5th post-game show that I'm doing, react to some of these games. I don't really feel like it's the same as it was. And I feel like the confidence level of Laker fans right now, I feel like that's kind of a stock that's going down. And I get it. It's probably natural because you're watching preseason games. They're not playing well. A lot of guys are in and out of the lineup, and you haven't really seen their full team yet. And we'll eventually get to see that. And I just want to fast forward to the regular season, to be honest with you, because I know that the Lakers are going to, at least we'll have a better idea of what the team is. 10 games in, 15 games in, 20 games in, whatever the case is. But I don't know if I'm reading it right, but that's kind of the vibe that I feel like I'm getting from Laker fans. I went on with Trevor Lane, couple weeks ago, Lakers Nation, and I'm on with him. And that's kind of the vibe that I felt like he was getting from a lot of fans as well, that there was some optimism, but it wasn't really a lot of optimism. I almost feel like for a lot of fans, they're going to have to build faith based off of what they see. It's not going to be blind faith. It's going to be, show me what the hell you got. Once I see it, once I start seeing that there's a recipe here for success, then maybe they'll start buying in a little bit more. You guys can tell me if I'm reading that right. So I'm curious if that's kind of the proper assessment or feeling that I have. Before we do so, and I'll come back to the comments here in just a second, let me give a quick shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, proud partners, proud injury attorney partners of the channel. Hopefully you're never in a position or a situation. You got a family friend or you got a friend of yours, whatever the case is, a family member, and they're involved in a serious injury or they're involved in a wrongful death case. If you do, please trust me when I tell you this. I have the best injury attorney in the business in the state of California that's on this channel and that can help. Let me give you guys just a quick website, a URL that we created, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. If you're ever in a predicament, it's intimidating, you're not sure what to do, what's the first step, go to that website. I've told people before, you can send me a personal email. Anyone could send me an email, and I'll be happy to make an introduction. So however I can help. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace team, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Okay, let's get back to some of our topics here and keep things rolling. So let's see what people are saying in regards to my comment of level of optimism. Do they feel good about this team? Do they not feel good about this team? Let's take a look here. Injuries really killed the optimism. Injuries, and I would say that they're just not playing guys as well. Austin Reeves is not injured tonight. He just didn't play. Luka wasn't going to play a second of a back-to-back. Marcus Smart got 20 minutes yesterday. He wasn't going to play tonight. So not just the injuries. The injuries you're talking about is LeBron, of course, Adu Thero, who I'd like to see. He's still not out there. Maxi Kleba, we'll see what happens with him. Let me see some more comments here. Lakers are cooked. Lakers fans' thoughts. F this team. Let's get another one here from Liam. The rough preseason has left a stain on many hopes for the season. Luka getting going can change all that in a few games, though. Yeah, I think it's more the unknown. I think we all know that preseason, really nobody should be looking at the results. I mean, I'm listening to the broadcast. I hear Michael saying, yeah, preseason. He's talking about how there's a purpose for preseason. It's not to win the actual games, but it's the fact that you're not really seeing any of these guys play together, which leaves a little bit up in the air as far as questions go. And then, of course, not having LeBron to start the season. And as we were talking about a little bit earlier, don't expect LeBron James until probably mid-November, according to Shams. All right, let me get a couple more in here. Lakers have one really good player and then nothing else. Damn, Slee, this team is not it. Preseason doesn't matter for you. Want to establish, or preseason doesn't matter, but you want to establish a winning mentality, which they are not. They're definitely not establishing that. Good first half. I thought they played Dallas pretty well. And in the second half, I mean, you talk about mailing it in. The fourth quarter alone, I said this a little bit earlier, was 37-8. The second half, they were outscored by 40. I mean, that I don't care who's playing, but you obviously can't have that happen. Let's see a couple more of these here, and I think this will. But I think you guys can tell what I'm referring to. There's a certain vibe right now around Lakers basketball, and the vibe isn't the most positive thing in the world. All right, I'm optimistic. In Vegas, put a future bet on the Lakers to win it all. There you go. Another one here. We are a play-in team at best. Okay, gives you an idea of the vibe here. Let me keep moving here. So I got a couple other topics that we'll get into. From a player perspective, I don't think I'm going to play any more player interviews. I think I kind of heard what I wanted to hear, and I just wanted to hear JJ Redick talk, and I want to get a chance to hear Gabe Vincent as well. So we got a chance to hear both of them. So we'll probably be done from an interview perspective, and I won't go too much longer in the post-game show. Upcoming schedule for the Lakers. So the next game that they have will be the final game they have against the Sacramento Kings, who, by the way, earlier today, if you guys saw, if I'm correct here, let me see here. Russell Westbrook, they brought in. So Russell Westbrook, a part of the Sacramento Kings now. But the one thing that I will say is this upcoming game will be the first time that we get a chance to actually see this full team together. If you guys are just listening right now or maybe listening a little bit later, JJ Redick talked about how they're going to treat Friday almost like it's a regular season game, in the sense that I don't think they'll care whether they win the game or not, but they're going to treat it as if I got to get my rotations in, probably expect whatever that starting lineup is on Friday, most likely to be the starting lineup coming up on Tuesday. I imagine Vando is going to be in that starting lineup. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping he is, to be honest with you. So the next game the Lakers have will be game 6 of the preseason, and that will be it. They won't have any more preseason games, and then we'll obviously get ready for the regular season. That tip-off, if I'm right, is at 7:30. Yep, 7:30 against the Sacramento Kings, and then we won't have another game until Tuesday when it's opening night, Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. So that's what we got coming up. I would say this. Probably save most of your opinion of what you've seen so far until we get to Friday night, and let's see what that team looks like. But clearly the Lakers are going to be – it's going to be a work in progress as they get ready for the regular season, and they're not going to be at full strength, so we know that as well. Okay, I'll get to a couple more comments, and then we're going to call it a night. I'm pulling double headers here. Alex, I'm eating an apple pie and watching Sliwa talk Lakers. Damn, that sounds amazing right now. Brother, you're not going to offer an apple pie here? Don't do this. Now, because you start doing this, and then the moment the show goes, I'm going to go straight to the refrigerator. I don't need that right now. I'm like in a good rhythm here. Don't screw up my my rhythm. All right, let's see a couple more here. Got to think Vando will be in that starting 5 dress rehearsal. He's got to be. I think, honestly, he's proved it. He proved he deserves to be there. And I think on top of that, Bron's not there. So I think you're going to need another player in there anyways. I mean, I was making the case for Vando when LeBron was healthy. So, I'm going to make a case for Vando when LeBron's definitely while LeBron's not healthy. All right, my people, I think that's all we got. I think that's all we got here for the night. I think we did our job. Get less preseason games. Hopefully you guys like kind of a little bit of the setup here. What I'm going to try to do here is just have a little bit more structure in the post game and kind of lay out what it is. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm back on tomorrow morning starting at 8 a.m. And we'll get these double headers, these back-to-backs. I got to get used to this again. I'm still in preseason mode. Thank you very much for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys all being here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. if you can join. If not, I'll catch you at the next post-game show coming up on Friday night. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.